how to have healthy boundaries when a student confides in you. When working with minors, it is vital to the safety and well-being of the child, the family, your organization, and the role that you have for appropriate boundaries to be in place at all times. Sometimes, as youth workers, we will initiate important conversations with students we are concerned about. This can have a lasting positive impact on them, as well as be a starting point for them to receive the support, guidance, tools, resources, and care that they need. Now, other times, a student may approach us unsolicited and share about a crisis or trauma going on in their life. In both incidences, it's imperative for you to consider these 3 things. Number 1, does the conversation you are having need a third party? Number 2, does the conversation you are having need an authority figure? And number 3, does the conversation that you are having need to be followed up by bringing others into it? Let's go further into these questions. Number 1, does the conversation that you are having need a third party? When a student divulges something critical, it can be a vulnerable time in which emotions and impulses run high. For a youth worker who is meeting with a student of the opposite gender, it might be wise to bring a third adult of the student's gender into the conversation. If a student is sharing about harm or trauma external to the family unit, it might be wise to bring in a member of the family to best join the team in providing support for the student. Number 2, does the conversation you are having need an authority figure? Depending on your organization's protocol and depending on what the student is actually sharing with you about their life, it may be critical for either law enforcement or supervisors to be made aware of the situation. Now, this is both for accountability's sake and to meet the standards of your governing statutes. Number 3, does the conversation you are having need to be followed up by bringing others into it? While it may not be critical for you to bring a third party into the conversation while it is happening with the student, it might be as soon as the conversation is over. Many times students are not going to open up if an additional individual is present, especially if there's a lack of connection with that third party person. And this is understandable. Yet, once they have shared, it might be required, or just plain wisdom, to invite others into the story that student shared with you. Incident reports serve as a helpful tool in this specific area. Be sure to follow your organization's protocol on what to do after a student shares about a crisis, mental health issue, or any trauma that they face. Also, be sure to follow any mandated reporting guidelines of your local and state law. The hard work of being there for students can be draining and difficult, yet you are providing a lifeline of access to tools and resources which can introduce positive change in their life. Thank you so much for listening and caring for students. It is changing the world one young person at a time.